Have you ever wondered how to set up the automation that allows you to automatically send a DM whenever somebody comments on one of your Instagram posts? Well, in today's video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that. More importantly, why you would want to, especially if you're somebody with a small business and you're wanting to streamline your backend marketing, sales, and automations. Now, you might be wondering, why would we want to set something up like this? And how is it actually going to benefit you and your business? Let's get into it. Instagram, as you know, has been making a lot of changes in 2025. And as we're going into 2026, it's only going to get crazier. It becomes so much less about what content you create and how much content you create, but it becomes so much more about how you create a quality experience for your users. Meaning the people who are engaging with your content on Instagram and other social media platforms, and how you're taking users from Instagram into your actual list. They're joining your email list, they're subscribing, they're connecting, and they're taking those steps towards potentially working with you and purchasing from your business. We're going to set up exactly how we're going to move somebody from commenting on an Instagram post, receiving a DM from you, and actually being able to start a conversation and collecting their email address. So you're not only staying on Instagram, but you're starting to move off of the platform so you can have longevity without relying solely on these platforms. The tool we're going to use is our platform called Built to Scale. And if this looks familiar, then it might look just like the GHL platform. For those of you that are familiar with GHL, yes, it is a white label. And of course, we customize it to make it work for us. So inside of our platform, we're going to go over to automations, and inside of automations, I'm going to go and work on one that we were previously setting this up so we can get through this a little quicker. And I'm going to have this one here for my IG DM and sending a free guide. Now, there are two important components to this for just getting started, and we're going to cover both of those, how they work, and what the most important components of those are. First thing that we want to do here is we need to have what's called a trigger and what that thing is that's going to turn it on. You can think of this kind of like the switch. The way that you add a trigger to your workflows is by clicking on the Add New Trigger button here. And in the case of Instagram specifically and our Instagram comments and DMs, we want to make sure that we're using the Instagram comment trigger. On this one, I'm going to go ahead and search for the Instagram comments on a post. And this is basically that feature that's going to let me choose the option for when somebody's commenting on a post. We're going to go ahead and use that as a thing that's going to turn on. Now, a few important caveats here. We have to select the Instagram page. So in this case, we're going to select our page. We have to make sure that the post type is going to be published, because obviously it doesn't make sense if they're commenting on something that's not published. And then the last part is deciding what kind of filter we want to use for this, not just with the post type, but also with what that key phrase is going to be. So you can do this in two different ways. One, you can do it where you're only setting it up on a specific post, meaning we're going to select a specific post here. And in this case, I'm just going to choose our most recent post that we're going to be commenting on. We don't stop there. The last part is we have to actually add what that phrase is going to be. And you can do this in one of two ways. You can use exact match or you can use contains phrase. The difference is exact match means it has to be spelled exactly as you're going to put it in, which isn't always the best, especially if people are going to be commenting with different iterations, adding a few extra Y's or a few extra T's, or of course the occasional misspelling. But you want to use something more like contains phrase, in my opinion, which gives you a little bit more flexibility with what you're looking for. I'm going to use the term for BTS guide. Now, of course, I need to make sure I hit enter here, otherwise it won't save it. We can save this trigger. Now, before I do, I want to explain one difference here with the post type and the contains phrase. If you have the post type selected, meaning you're choosing a specific post that you want this feature to be turned on for, it's only going to fire on that specific post. So you have to be having users comment on that specific post with that phrase in order for this to work. If you're wanting to use the same phrase on multiple posts throughout your account, then what you can simply do is actually remove that option. So we don't want it based on the post specifically. We want to just use the phrase across all of our posts. And that's going to give you that freedom and flexibility to say, I don't need to set this up every single time for the same automation. I just set it up once, and anytime somebody comments that phrase on any post, it's going to turn this action on. So we're going to go ahead and hit save trigger here. And now we have the original one we set up. And in this case, we set it up specifically for an individual post. And then in this second trigger that we're using, again, just for demo purposes, this one's not going to be related to a specific post. It's going to be related to any and all posts that we have on our account. Now, the next thing that we need to set up on here, and I'm just going to go ahead and hit the save button, that way we don't lose our work, is the actual action. Now, the action pertains to what's going to happen after the trigger has been set up. So when somebody comes in, they comment on a post, what happens next? In this case, we want to do two things. One, we're going to send them an Instagram DM. We actually want to send over that message to them directly, and we can use the Instagram DM action in order to do that. If you've never set this up before, you're going to click on the little plus sign, and then of course you can search for the DM feature, and you can find that Instagram DM option here. There is of course options now to leverage this with other platforms like TikTok, which just came out in October of 2025. We're not going to get into that right now. We're just going to focus on Instagram. We've selected the Instagram action, and from here we want to add in what that message content is going to be. So what are we going to say in our message that whenever somebody comments on this, they're going to get? I'm going to use what's called a custom field or custom value here. And what I want to do is I want to make sure I'm personalizing that message so it doesn't feel like just a plain old automation, but it can feel a little bit more personal by using their actual name. The way that you do that is you're going to use this little tag to select the custom value, and they are the contact. So I'm going to select the contact first name. What that's going to do is it's going to automatically pull their first name and use that in the message, which you're going to see in a few minutes here. And of course, I'm going to write out the rest of it. If I'm going to include a link to a guide, then I can go ahead and just include that link. We're going to say what email they want us to send it to. Now, the cool thing about using something like what email should I send it to is now we can actually collect their email address, store it inside of our account, and then of course, email that free guide over to them, which makes it a lot easier to move forward in that process. Now, you don't have to do it this way. You can just do it where you directly send them that link or you directly send it inside of the message. It's totally up to you. It's simply just changing this from asking for their email address to what it was previously. For today's purposes, we're going to get a little bit more technical here and have some fun with it. I'm going to hit save action. And then from here, what I also need to do is I want to make sure that once we do get their email address, so once they reply to this message, we get their email address, then we can go ahead and send them that free guide. I'm going to add a wait action. I'm going to use this contact reply. I'm choosing that I'm going to wait for them to reply to that Instagram DM. And what's going to happen for there is if they do reply and they send us their email address, great. What I'm going to do next is send over the next message. We do have to make sure we actually set up the automation that's going to email it to them. And that gets to be a fun one. So I'm going to hit save right here, and we're going to add in that action. So we're going to hit on the add action here, and we're going to send that email over. Now, if you have something like templates set up, awesome, you can use those. In this one, we're just going to keep it really basic. So we're going to hit save action. So right now what we have set up is whenever somebody goes ahead and comments on our post with that phrase, we're going to send them an Instagram message asking for their email address. Once they send us their email address, then we're going to go ahead, email them that guide because now we've captured their email. And next we're going to send them confirmation message saying, hey, we just sent that over to you. But let's go ahead and add one more thing on here just as a safeguard, right where we're going to send that Instagram DM, letting them know that we just sent them a message. And so what we want to do here is I want to use this nice little reply and comments action that's going to allow me to reply to the comment that they just left. What this is going to do is it's going to basically let us comment underneath their comment, reply to it on that post. And of course, we can like their comment too. All right, so we're going to hit save that action, save it one more time, and let's go ahead and test this puppy out. We are on my business Instagram account here, and I'm going to use my personal account to do the testing for this. I'm going to go ahead and comment on one of the posts on here so we can see how it's going to work. We just went ahead and left a comment on the post down here, and let's see how that magic is taking place. I'm gonna go ahead and click on it. You're gonna see this new comment we just left from my personal account. More importantly, you're gonna see this epic little reply from our automation saying, hey, just sent you a DM. More importantly, let's go see if that message actually went through, and of course that we did get their email address. With this tool and with this platform in particular, one of the things that I really love is that it actually lets us centralize all of our communication so that we don't have to rely on going into Instagram or Facebook or any of those other platforms to communicate with leads. We can do it directly from the platform. So let me show you what I mean. So here I am on the actual platform, able to communicate and connect with my contacts. And you're gonna see, here's my personal profile over here that I get to communicate with from the platform without needing to actually log into Instagram. And what we can see is, hey, that message actually went through and now we're sending it. What we're gonna wait for here is we wanna make sure that we do get the email address for this contact so that we can actually send them that guide. So I'm gonna go ahead and reply from my personal account. and we're gonna go ahead and send it out. So this is what's really cool. Now you're gonna see that that message is going to come into this inbox here. And of course, without us even doing anything, it's automatically sending that DM. Now that we've gotten their email address from them, it's also gonna go ahead and send that guide to them. So we're seeing here, hey, we just sent that email to their email address. And of course, the next thing that we just did here is we automatically reply to that DM message in addition to it. Just through that automation that we've set up, we've done a few amazing things. We have been able to, number one, anytime anybody comments on any post on our Instagram account with that key phrase, we're going to, of course, acknowledge it so that they know, hey, we sent you a DM, go and check that out. We're going to send them an actual DM message, which we can see over here, where we're asking them for what their email address is. When they send us their email address, we're saving that information inside of our account. So now we can go ahead, add them to our email list. We can continue to engage with them and move off of just relying on social media so we can connect with them outside of the platform. More importantly, we've also sent them that free guide. We've let them know that we've sent it to them. So they're getting that email from us. We're building that relationship with them and we can start to move forward in the process. So again, this is something that is really, really exciting, a new tool that just came out. But let's go ahead and also check one last thing here that I think is important just to understand how it's all working on the back end. So over here, we're back on the workflow side of the automation, and we want to check the enrollment history. And you'll see here my two versions of the test that we just ran. So the enrollment history essentially shows you all of the people who have actually gone through this workflow, meaning they've triggered it and they've moved through it. The execution logs here is where we can see and just check that all of these things have worked correctly. So we can see, did they actually execute and finish, or was there a failure, or did something happen? And in this case, we can see that everything is functioning perfectly. Now, I did mention earlier at the beginning of this tutorial that there was a second way to do this, which is a little bit simpler if you just want to send them a link without having to collect their email address. I'm going to show you what that looks like on the back end as well, and that way you can see how that worked. So here he is inside of my contacts now that he's actually responded to one of my messages and we've sent that message over. When I click on his contact card, now you're going to see that Instagram message automatically happened with the original message we had in place, just sending him the link to the free guide, which he can then go ahead and opt in for. Lots of different ways to do this. It just depends on what your goals are and how you want to set it up. But I think the key takeaway here is that you can now move away from having to manually send messages and manually reply to comments and start to streamline that entire experience and make it feel a lot more personal. So if you made it to the end of this video, please feel free to leave any comments and questions down below. I'll be sure to check those out with our team so that we can make sure we answer any questions that come up, as well as any type of other pieces you might want to learn more about. As always, please be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you did find it helpful and supportive. And if you want to stay in touch with more information, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, turn on your notifications so that you get updates anytime that we release new content every single Wednesday. Thank you so much for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to learn more about the platform that we've set up and you want to give it a try, be sure to check out the affiliate link in the description down below. You can use GoHighLevel directly if you would like to, or if you want to get in on all of the goods of what we offer inside of Built to Scale. You can check out our actual membership and version of the software in our link in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you in future videos.